guys can just wave if you want to, it's okay. All right, Corey. So, have you guys ever wanted to know what it would look like if you sent a piece of technology about a mile or two away from where you're standing, be able to see an impossible thing that you couldn't walk to, or even see the top of the trees of a mountain? Well, with drones, that's what you can do. They're an awesome piece of technology, but there's a lot to go into flying one for your first time. The first thing would be knowing what kind of drone you're going to use. From the multiple different kinds of drones out there. The second thing is the laws and regulations that go with flying a drone correctly. And then third, being able to actually operate it 100%. First, being able to know what kind of drone you're going to use is very important. On Philip Craig's article in 2017, he wrote that there are drones from just a small little toy to $100 million plus military UAV drones. So that's a huge expand of different kind of drones that you can fly. Most people aren't going to use a $100 million drone. This was about $1,000, but I bought it for the reason of recreational use. I took it down to my trip in Panama and got some crazy video of the beach and the ocean that I'll show you later on. In Rob Matheson's and from MIT, he stated that they're using the drone right now to actually, they're developing sensors and better cameras on the drones to send them through the forest to find lost hikers instead of using humans, because then the humans also could get lost, but it's not as efficient as sending a mass amount of drones. They're talking like 10 to 20 different drones out to find any lost hikers that could be lost, which is another different feature, but we're not going to use those kind of drones because we're not trying to find lost hikers. Most people just use recreational drones. The second big thing with drones is being able to know the laws and regulations that go with it. With this specific drone, I had to go under the recreational, under 55-pound drone. So to register a drone, on the FAA website, Federal Aviation Administration, it is a government organization. They list 4 easy steps to set up a drone and have your first flight. Number 1 was registering the drone. It is a $5 fee, and all you do is when you buy the drone, in the box that it comes with, it has a code at the bottom. And you just type in the code, you pay the $5, you're registered. If you don't have this register on you and you fly the drone and it's up in the air and a park warden or a cop comes by and asks you for your registration, you don't have it, 1, that is a huge fee, and 2, depending on the location, is a fine or a jail time even. So make sure if you ever fly one to have that. Their second step was reviewing the rules and making sure that you know everything that's going on. So 1 is if there's a drone up, most of the time don't fly another drone anywhere near it. Being able to send it so far away, but you need to also be able to visually see the drone up in the sky. If it is past the point where you can't see it, that is breaking the rules. And therefore it could be a fine if someone asks you, where's your drone? Where's it flying? There's a bunch of different other ones, and a big important one is their third step is knowing where to fly a drone. There are so many different restrictions in where to fly a drone correctly. The major one is flying it next to an airfield. You can't fly a drone anywhere next to an airfield 3 miles in a diameter. So that limits it quite a bit, but you can still get a lot of good footage here in Springfield. I have a few footage spots from Washington Park. If you want to fly it in a place that is restricted, sometimes they'll allow you to call a place, and it's the aviation center of where that's at that location, and you just call and you ask if you can set up a quick flight. And you tell them the amount of time you're wanting to set it up for, and they'll approve it or they'll disapprove it. And they'll usually give you a limitation of 200 meters or below or 300 meters and below. Just can't go past that. Or if you send it out in the country where there's no restrictions whatsoever, you can send this thing as far as you can see and be able to see stuff you've never seen before, which is really, really nice. The third thing with going into fly drone is the possibility of being able to fly it correctly and versus not correctly. They're pretty unique little pieces of device, and they're kind of hard to operate when you first get going on it. For this drone specifically, it is a DJI Mavic Pro drone, and it's fantastic for what I used it for. But it comes with this controller. Right here is where you plug in the iPhone, Android phone, anything, and you set it in and you squish these two things until the phone's tight. When you turn this on, the drone on, and the phone app with DJI, it'll pull up the screen. It'll actually show you what the camera sees. So at this point, it would show Tom. And that's pretty nice, but there's a lot of different features that come with this specific drone that I love to use. One of them is the home feature. So wherever the drone first takes off, it remembers exactly where it was. And I'll send this thing a mile or two away, and I press this home button. It'll ask me if I want to bring it home. It'll come exactly where I left it, or where it took off. It's actually really impressive how close it is. I have a little thing, little tiny orange circle that I take when I go to fly this, so that way it doesn't really bug when the flyer starts spinning, and every time it has not missed that orange circle every time it comes back. There's this little Joy-Con, which controls the camera, being able to move it down and up, which is really nice. This Joy-Con lets it go forward, backwards, left, and right. This one elevates it, so if you want to get higher or lower, you go down with it. There's the record button in the back, picture button, and it's got a bunch of different features also that make it really nice, from the ability to be able to track yourself, so it'll set you as an object and it'll follow you wherever you go, or it'll do a 360 around you if you just move the Joy-Con, so that way you're not trying to be perfect with it. There's a ton of different features that make operating the drone easier, but it's still a very hard thing to do, and if you don't do it correctly, very easily you can crash it. To conclude, there are a bunch of different things that you have to do to be able to fly a drone correctly the first time. One of them is knowing which drone you're going to use and how you're going to use it. Secondly, is knowing the laws and regulations that go with the drone and being certified. And lastly is being able to operate it correctly so that way you don't crash it. Final thought, I wanted to give you guys a quick little snippet of what it looks like flying the drone just in the beach area. As you can see, I was able to get up a little bit there, and that's just views from about probably 40-50 feet up. And then I was able to take the drone and put the camera down, and that was my girlfriend at the time. Well, she still is my girlfriend, but that was her, and being able to see her in the ocean with no sand or anything in the way. So there you go.
What's the privacy limitations on these as far as keeping time type stuff?